The sentence for both offences of murder is life imprisonment with a minimum term before deductions of 42 years. Those sentences have to be concurrent to one another. I stress that is a minimum. You may never be safe to set free. I deduct the days already served. On both count 1 and count 2, the murders of Paul Longworth and Albert Alfonso, the sentence is life imprisonment with a minimum term of 40 years, 264 days. You can go down, Mr. Mosquera.
And we've just heard the sentencing there of Yostin Andres Mosquera, 35, who was sentenced to 42 years to be served concurrently. So two sentences for the two murders of Albert Alfonso, 62, and Paul Longworth, 71. Some very gruesome details that were released there about the way that Yostin Mosquera murdered Albert Alfonso and Paul Longworth. The judge describing him as an odd man, also mentioning that on his computer, a huge amount of very graphic images of the sexual abuse of very young children was found. He also mentioned a medical assessment which did find that Yostin Mosquera did have a personality dysfunction, which included lack of empathy and self-centeredness. Now, if Yostin Mosquera, who is originally from Colombia, will be released, and the judge was mentioning that he may never be deemed safe enough to be released, but if so, he would then be deported to Colombia. So let me just remind you of the details of this case. Yostin Mosquera, sentenced today for the murder of two men to 42 years. Now, Mosquera killed the civil partners, Albert Alfonso, 62, and Paul Longworth, 71, last year at their flat in Shepherd's Bush, West London. We heard how he used a hammer and a knife to kill them both, and he had been engaged in a sexual relationship with Albert Alfonso, 62. Now, Yostin Mosquera was a sex worker when he met Albert Alfonso. So it was a legal transactional sexual relationship. That's how the judge called it. And he did kill the two men, Albert Alfonso and Paul Longworth, before decapitating and dismembering them and dumping body parts in Shepherd's Bush. The two heads we heard in a freezer, and then the bodies in a suitcase that was left on the Clifton Suspension Bridge in Bristol. Now, we've just had the sentencing of Yostin Mosquera, 42 years for murder.